Back in 2009, I was a single doctor practice, and I probably had 5 or 6 employees. It just felt unorganized. It felt like I was doing everything. I was being pulled in multiple different ways, and like I wasn't moving forward. I was coping, basically, at being an owner, being the only doctor in the practice, handling employees, and trying to do things that I was never trained to do. The problem was I wasn't running the practice. I wasn't running the practice, and so I couldn't even have told you the bills I was paying. And I had a bookkeeper who came in once a week and was doing those things, but I had no idea what we were making every week, what we were supposed to be making. It was just like, oh, the money is coming in, the bills are being paid, I'm just going to do the same thing the next day. So there was just no structure to anything. I could be a very good veterinarian, and what I was doing is ignoring being a business person because I just didn't know. Crossing my fingers, hoping that my business would be there the next day. Well, it was a fax, back when we had faxes, and I read it, and it just hit me. It hit me that my practice owned me. Even though I was an owner, I didn't have any ownership in it. The practice was running me, the practice was running my life, it was running everything, and I was just a total effect of it. But reading that fax, it was just like a light bulb went off. Like, holy cow, that's exactly what's happening. Well, there was so much that I didn't know back then. I didn't know what an owner was supposed to do. I just knew that you owned a practice and you went to work every day and you paid your bills, right? The reason that I wanted to do the program is I wanted to feel organized. Like, I didn't feel there was any structure to my practice. I wasn't in charge of the employees. I just felt like I wasn't in charge of anything. The employees were running me, and there was just no structure, no organization. And that truly is the only thing that I was looking for. And when I heard about being able to correct things that were happening and writing policies and things like that, I was like, well, that makes sense. That's what I want. So that's what I was looking for initially when I, signed up for it. I thought it was like really good. I was totally thinking short-term relief. I just wanted a little bit of organization in my practice. And I liked the idea that someone else was going to be trained with me, because in the past I had always brought ideas and then nothing happened because it was just me. I was the only one who was trying to change and move things, right? So having someone else trained in the practice I thought was brilliant. But I was solely looking short-term. No, and what I tell people is that they need to sign up for the program because it's life-changing. It's life-changing professionally, and it's life-changing personally. I had very small ideas. My think was very small in what I could do as a veterinarian, as what my practice could be as an animal hospital. And as I went through the program, my ideas got bigger and bigger. What's wonderful about this program is that all the people involved are cheerleaders, and they want you to succeed no matter what. And to just be around people who had very big ideas, suddenly I thought, I could have big ideas too. And so I went from thinking I'm going to be a solo doctor practice, right? And I was happy with what I was making. Like it wasn't like I needed to make my practice profitable. I was satisfied with less, with small. And so just having that change in mindset really made me realize what I could do and what my practice could become. That is definitely something that developed, because when I was first in the program, like I said, I was a very small thinker, and I thought, well, that's not me. That's not what I would ever do. I just want a little bit of organization. But being able to be part of the Masters Club, being around people with just big ideas, it's amazing the creation that we can do just as a group, and then seeing all these other people having these great wins and these great ideas, then it's something that suddenly I'm like, oh wow, I can do that too. I learned about the tone scale the very first time I did the team builder. And I remember learning about the tone scale, and suddenly just the light bulb went on about my employees. And there were always employees that I didn't feel good being around. I mean, they were kind of mean people. You didn't want to poke the bear, you know what I mean? But these were people I had on my staff. They had some training, and I was always in the thought of, well, I can't fire them because what would I do without them? And so I had these like fearful handcuffs on. I couldn't make decisions about them because if I fired that person, first of all, she'd be really upset with me and she'd probably say some nasty words to me. But secondly, what am I gonna do? I need some help, right? But learning about the tone scale, it finally dawned on me that there are people who are low toned. And it's not me, right? It is their tone level. And that's why they're difficult to work with. And that's why they irritate the other staff. And that's why production slows. And so just learning that, I was like, oh boy, I don't want to work with those people anymore. Getting rid of those people and then being able to hire high-tone people, it just makes a huge difference. And everybody wants to help, and everybody generally likes each other, you know? And if somebody has a bad day, like you just talk to them and you're all adults and everybody's, you know, happy. And learning how to hire the right people, learning how to fire the people that shouldn't be there, who are low tone, just changes the whole culture of the practice and makes a huge difference. So for me, I can walk in and I can say, I've got a good team because I have looked at their tone level. I know that I have high tone people. And if I don't, I know who they are and I know how their reaction is going to be. So I have a much better way of communicating with them and predicting what the communication is going to be, and I'm totally capable of handling it. Yes. You know, first of all, people say things to you and then you're like, oh, well, what's their tone level, right? Because in the past, it would introvert me, and what did I do, right? Like there's something wrong with me. But then learning about some of the people in my life that are covertly hostile or they are lower toned, was like, okay, well, I know your tone level now. I'm better able to, you know, have a good relationship with all of them because I know what their tone level is. Well, it was a realization that I could do more. I could be more. I could actually be an owner. I could actually have time off to do statistics, or I could have a few hours off because someone else was in production. So I could take that time off and I could actually start working on my practice, which was a very freeing thought, you know, and a freeing action. And then just looking at the profitability, suddenly it was like, wow, it's way more profitable having someone else here to produce than just me. So it was a taste of freedom in that I didn't have to be the primary production person anymore, and also giving me the thought that, first of all, I can grow, and secondly, I can actually step into that ownership CEO role. I always wanted to because I was super busy, and I had an associate before that, and that was before I was in the program, and I probably could have handled that totally differently because again my think was small, right? So it wasn't until I hired, there's one particular associate that I hired, and unfortunately she wasn't a high tone person and she ended up leaving, but it was just that sudden shift that I could expand and I could be bigger and I didn't have to stay small. But you know, we all want to hire another veterinarian, right? For me, it wasn't about, can I afford that person? It was, I need some time to be an executive. And again, I was busy. So at that point, I didn't even worry, could I afford them or not? It's just like, I can't not do this. The bottom line is, everybody was trained in the Hubbard Tech. So I had the Hubbard Tech system. We had been using it for a while. My executives were trained. I had, just before I left, one of my associates had done a small buy-in, so he had a little bit of ownership, a little bit of skin in the game. And because they were trained, I was able to monitor things from afar. It was easier managing my practice from 1,500 miles away than it was being in the practice, because it took away all the noise that you get when you're right there in the thick of it. And I could just use my tools, look at the stats, I could do my condition formula, I could say, here's the plan, I could say, here you go, here, execute it, let me know when it's done, and then we would watch the stats change. So it was really the first time that I had clarity on what I could do, and it was fun. But it's all because of the Hubbard Tech. I was scared. I'm not gonna lie. I was scared. I worried that the practice wouldn't make as much money because I was gone. I was worried that things would change while I was gone, that I would lose control. That was a big thing. But when you're following the formulas, the power formulas don't disconnect. So I knew that I needed to stay connected. I knew that I needed to speak with my execs on a weekly basis, with my doctor, who had bought in on a weekly basis. And so we just made sure that the communication was in, that I was making sure that I was watching things. It was a little bit of an adjustment when I went away because some things fell out, and then I was like, oh boy, I need to get those things back in. But after the first probably 4 to 6 weeks, it was like, okay, now I know what to look for, and we got everything in, and it was, it wasn't all, roses and candy, right? But I made it work, and it was highest ever year, and I wasn't even there.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
it was
really awesome.
it was perfect. The sign of a true executive, right? Being able to manage from thousands of miles away. Well, the secret definitely is using the Hubbard Tech. The beauty of using the tech is that it gives you all the tools that you need. It gives you the condition formulas, so if your numbers are down, you know exactly what you're going to do. You know how to solve problems. If you use the tech, that's what's made me so successful, is continuing to use the tech, continuing to be connected to this organization. Coming to the owners' conferences, that's the secret. It's using the tech and staying connected to the people. I would tell you this, back then I had no idea what my ideal scene would be, or should be, or was. I couldn't have even told you what I wanted. Like I was just put in a little bit of organization. Like I wasn't even thinking about that. So could I imagine what my life and my practice would be now? That would have been beyond my reality at that point. I mean, just looking back at that, it seems a little funny to me. That person, I don't even know who they are anymore, right? Because it was such not even planning for the future. Like there was none of that. Learning all those things and just growing in that thinkingness has been what's expanded my life and my practice. And so would I have thought back then my life and my practice would look what it looks like today? No, I would have never expected it. It's much bigger than what I expected, much more fabulous. I would say absolutely just do it. Because looking back, my biggest regret is that I didn't do it fully as quickly as I could. Part of that was because of my own considerations, thinking that I was fine. Like I didn't need to do all of it. Like I just, I handpicked a few things. And it wasn't until I was like, nope, I need to get my people trained. And that's when I really saw what it could do. So what I would tell to people is just don't wait, just do it. It's going to change your practice. It's going to change your life. And just take the time away, get trained, train your staff, and do it as quick as you can because you will see fast results. I want practice owners to know that being an owner is not onerous, because you're the clinician and then you're the owner, but if you don't move from the owner into an executive type of position, you're always going to be stuck in that in-between owner-clinician. And it's just too many tasks It's why most owners reach out. It's why most owners say, this is the most horrible thing I've ever done and I don't want to do it again, right? And what I want owners to know is that there is a way that you can be a practice owner, and it can be life-changing. It can give you everything that you've ever wanted to. It can give you the reason why you decided to be an owner in the first place. The biggest shift is that you have to get rid of fixed ideas. You have to open your mind to the possibilities that you can, and you need to dream. You need to get rid of those fixed ideas of, I can't, it won't, it never will, and you need to dream, and then the question is how do you make it happen? Well, I mean, the big thing is that you just do it. Don't worry about the money. I've been everywhere. I've had every consideration that people have. And my word to people is just don't wait. Don't think about it. Just do it, because it will change their practice. One sentence. Ooh, just one. A small-minded veterinarian, single practice owner who flourished into a multi-doctor practice with dreams fulfilled.
There you go. I love it. Great.
That was only one sentence.
One sentence.
I could have made it 2 or 3.
It was one sentence.
We can cut it down.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, you're welcome.